All right, so this video is a little different, and nobody really asked me to make a video like this. I just wanted to do it for my own curiosity. About two pairs of shoes. These are tennis shoes, pickleball shoes, same thing, okay? So what I realized is that many of the top manufacturers like Asics and Nike, they actually have factories in Vietnam. So if you're looking at the top tier kind of flagship shoes like Asics Court FF3 or the Gel Resolution 10 or the Nike Vapors, they are made in Vietnam. If you look at the tongue, they're made in Vietnam. So I'm like wondering, like, do they have knockoffs of these shoes? So when you go on Shopee, which is like Amazon kind of in Vietnam, you see all these kind of knockoff Nikes and Asics, and they look exactly the same, right? They look exactly the same, except they're like a quarter of the price, a third of the price, or even more than that. So I'm like wondering, like, what is the difference? Because the factories are here anyway. These shoes look legit. They come in like more colors than usual. They have all the standard colors that you would find on the legitimate Nike or Asics site, but they also have more colors, right? And I'm just wondering, like, how can it be that much different? Especially if the factories are here. So it's like asking ChatGPT, I was like, what do you think about this? So it's like gray market, right? And ChatGPT was saying where they typically cut corners is the foam and like the glue. Okay, so like they have the mold, so they can make a shoe that looks pretty much exactly the same, but where they cut corners is the foam. And I guess I was thinking, like, is it really that, like, is foam and glue really that expensive? To make you can sell a shoe for like $50, and then in America we buy that shoe for $200 just because foam and glue. But apparently that's very important, right? The structural integrity of the shoe, how long it lasts, how it rebounds, like what it really feels like when you're on the court or just playing a sport. Apparently that's like, I guess that's what it's all about, right? They pour in a lot of design time to like come up with these like compounds that are very resistant and whatever. So I was like curious. So about one pair, anyways, for this was 1,411 1.4 million VND, pretty much, okay? And then I went to Nike.com and I bought the exact same shoe for about $180. It was about, I want to say, roughly 6 million VND. I don't have the exact numbers, but this is real from Nike Vietnam, the Nike Vapor 12s, and these are the fake ones from Shopee. We're going to open them up and we're going to see what we got. All right. This is from Nike. This just came today. It only took about 3 days to get here. I don't know if I'm going to get an extra box or if this is just the box. Looks like I do get another box. All right, this is your standard orange Nike box. So far, so good. Bada bing, bada boom. Nike Zoom Vapor 12 HCPRM. I don't know what that means. This one actually says made in China, so this is not made in Vietnam, which is unexpected, but for the sake of our experiment, it does not matter. And I don't really need a pair of pickleball shoes right now. My Asics are about hitting that 6-month mark, so they're starting to wear on the side, but there is no hole yet. And then I got a free pair of Wilsons, which are ugly, but they're actually quite nice. I did a Wilson pickleball event in Bangkok, and the Wilson Taiwan team came out and they gave us like shorts and shirts and shoes to wear to that event, so we're all matching. And the shoes ended up being pretty nice. I actually wear the shoes coaching. They're all white. All right. This is the Shopee version. An orange Nike box as well. This box it's already broken somehow, like it's been reused or something. Okay, so this says Zoom Vapor 12 Clay. Okay, so this says HC, so that means hard court, I'm pretty sure, because tennis, they make different types of shoes. This says made in Vietnam. Okay, if you can look here, looks pretty similar. The box looks pretty similar. I mean, The Nike box has a different color to it. It feels a little more premium. Just the dye on the cardboard. And obviously it's holding up better. Moment of truth, okay? What a nice colorway. A nice bright colorway. These are the real ones from Nike.com. And like, I don't know how I feel about spending $180 on a shoe that I've never played with before, and I haven't played with Nikes in such a long time. And like, I don't know about the durability of the Nike shoe, but it's okay. It's a very basic looking shoe. And, I guess the color is all right. Okay, now for the fake ones. Here it is, the clay model. I got this gum color, white and gum. It's kind of neutral. Vapor and vapor. So far, it's okay. Looking at the sole, it looks pretty much the same. There's like glue residue on the bottom here. It doesn't look as pristine as the bottom of this shoe. They have this, I don't know, Nike. This is like old school Nike tennis logo. It's like glued on here. And the tongue here on the real one just says Vapor 12, right? Nike symbol on one side. That looks about right. Air Zoom. This guy says Air Zoom right here, and I don't get that at all on the real shoe. Again, you have the Nike Court symbol in there. And here you get like a Nike splatter symbol. I don't know if you can see that. The laces. The lace tips here are nice and round. Here, they're like super flattened, like super squished and almost flat. And with the real ones, they're nice and cylindrical, just like nice and perfect. All right. Other than that, I'm kind of like twisting the shoe laterally, then bending it like that. It feels structurally the same, okay? I'm not like sensing one is softer than the other or anything like that, just from an initial twisting test, actually. This one actually twists a little bit easier and more severely. This one twists, it gives in the same kind of direction, but not as easily and aggressively as I can do this one. That whole shoe kind of like deforms when I do that. This one, it's kind of giving me a little bit of a fight. More, I got to use my forearm muscles, and it's not crumpling in as much for sure. But on the bottom, I mean, the pattern on the bottom of the shoes is exactly the same. You get a Nike check symbol up top. Kind of a nice little side guard right there, so you can drag your foot, I guess. This is softer. This is definitely thicker, all right? This feels hard. Hard, super hard rubber, whatever it is. I'm digging into it. This one has some give, like my fingernail can kind of press into it. I don't like just, if you were just a guessing man, you would guess that this is not going to last as long on a pickleball court as this. It's just very gummy. And this is more solid for sure. So those are my initial observations, but I mean, and I thought this was black. Okay, this is navy blue. But I bought this to just kind of like, go like whatever. The worst that can happen is maybe I can wear this to coaching. I have a lot of Nike tennis clothing, so it'd be nice to have some Nike shoes. But this is blue, And then this is red on this side for some reason. Like, I don't think I knew that when I bought it. But this one matches. Like, I don't have anything that matches this. But this is generally white and black with just a little bit of color here. So I mean, it's a decent looking shoe, I think. But definitely I prefer this one, especially since this one's like navy blue. But overall, what was this? Like 1.4 million? So you could literally buy like 4 pairs of these and still be under the price. About 4 pairs, just about, to get this one. But it really doesn't matter if these only last 1 month, and not even how much they last without having a hole in them, but what they feel like when you're actually moving, right? Like good footwork, like really starting and stopping, changing direction, shuffling around. So I'm gonna put them on. We'll see what happens. All right, here we go. One final kind of like close-up look at the shoes. $50 from Shopee, made in Vietnam. Okay, I mean they look like Nikes. Everything about them looks like Nikes. Even the tag here, you can see there's a QR code there. Like, I don't. The same with the real one. Like, it's a QR code. I don't know what happens if you scan the QR code. I'm not going to go that far. But even the way that inside tag is affixed to the tongue, it's very, very similar. Almost exactly the same. Tiny, tiny differences. Maybe. Like, just everything's similar. Everything's where it's supposed to be. Now, the box. This does say clay, to be fair, and this is hard court. But, I mean, the boxes are the same, virtually the same box. The real Nike box is a little bit better quality. Vapor, back there, same. To be honest, on the bottom here, the Nike there, everything looks really nice and pristine, right? All the edges. But here on the bottom, it's just not, like, the attention to detail, the quality control was not there. So it's almost like if this was a real Nike shoe, this probably wouldn't have passed quality control. If you look real close, I don't know if you can see it, to that Nike symbol, there's a little bit of imperfections. It's kind of blotchy. And you can see some of the glue. There's just some textures there. Definitely on this one, it's just kind of sloppy. That Nike check mark is kind of sloppy. And on the real one, it's pretty pristine in there, all right? But I mean, other than that, we're looking real close here. So, you know, maybe the texture of the shoe is different because this one is the clay model. I mean, you gotta assume that, of course, the clay model doesn't have to be as abrasion resistant as a model that's going to be designated for hard courts. So it's not like a true comparison. But like I said, this one definitely flexes easier versus the regular shoe. It's kind of harder to flex. I'm like trying to muscle it. Air Zoom. This one actually does say Air Zoom too. I just couldn't see it before. But I mean, it's just kind of crazy, right? When you go on Shopee.com, you can see a bunch of Asics Court FF. Court FF is their top of the line tennis shoe. You have the Gel Resolution 10, which is up there. I have the Solution Speed 3s, which are a little bit cheaper. And then the Vapors, this is all they have on the Nike Tennis Vietnam site. This is the top of the line model on the Nike Vietnam site. But it's different. It's not the same as when you go to Nike.com US, and it's not the same when you go to Asics.com US. When you go to Asics.com Thailand, there are no options. You can't find any shoes. There's 2 models. I think there's like a Padel shoe or something like that. It's crazy. There's nothing. They don't have the Court FF. They don't have anything listed. Just 2 obscure models in like a weird blue and orange, and it's like sold out. but you would expect to see all of the models and then just whether they have it or not, right? If you go to ASICS America, you see so many models, at least like 20 different models of tennis and pickleball shoes. But in Vietnam, the factories are here, but yet if you go to asics.com official site, there's nothing. You can't buy it. You have to go from some other retailer or go buy it from China or Singapore, and then it comes back into Vietnam for a extremely high price, but the factory is here. So I mean, I don't really know what goes on there. And this one is made in China. I thought it would be made in Vietnam, but it was same deal with Nike. You go to the official Nike.com Vietnam site, and the selection is just so limited. Even though I know that they're making these in Vietnam, I know for a fact that the Court FF3s are made in Vietnam because I had a pair before. My Asics right now made in Vietnam. They're like $200 shoes, but you can't buy them in Vietnam. You can buy the fakes in Vietnam. You can go easily find a $50 pair of Asics fakes. And I'm guessing it's going to be just like this, right? Just the quality control is not quite there. And obviously, it seems a little bit flimsier. I mean, I'm not, again, comparing a hard court shoe to a clay court shoe. I'm not, like, I don't know if that has to do with, like, the rigidity of the shoe or not. So it's not directly apples to apples. So we'll see, like, we'll see. But I guess in Vietnam, $200 is crazy to pay for a pair of shoes. A lot of people it's out of reach for a lot of people, right? That's like a month's rent for a pair of shoes that lasts 6 months, if you're playing. So do people just bite the bullet? Like I said, like you can't really tell. Like no one's really going to question you about these being fake. Like no one. Nobody in America too. If I put these on, nobody. You just say they're Nikes. I mean, it might come from the same factory. I don't even know. Like who's to say that these are not Nikes? But the quality is there for $50. Durability, who knows? But like I said, the only thing I can tell is the bottom, it's just not as tough. But if this is a clay court shoe, that makes sense. All right, it's not as hard as this. And this one flexes a lot easier. The foam. Yeah, okay, so I'm squeezing the foam on the side of this shoe, and it's hard. It's dense. This foam is foamy. It's soft. I can really get in there pretty easily. On the side here, press it. It's foamy, man. This same part of that other shoe, the Nike shoe, it's not as soft. It's definitely more dense. So I'll say that. So far, ChatGPT was kind of right. Maybe the glue and the foam, they just cheap out a little bit. But for casual, for just maybe coaching, maybe that'll do. I mean, you could buy 3-4 pairs of these for the price of one of these. Anyways, time to actually try these shoes on. We'll see how it goes. The fit is good. They're not, I mean, I don't have wide feet, but some people do say the Nikes run a bit narrow. But for me, it's okay. I mean, I would love for my big toe not to be as squished, but I don't really know. There's really no way to know until you put on the other pair. All right, out of the box, the laces are definitely softer. They're like so soft and already feel like they're already old. The legit Nike laces were so firm and thick, like they haven't been broken in yet. But these already feel super soft and pillowy. And this shoe, it's just not as snug. Everything feels softer. Like everything feels softer. You can see my foot wiggling around in there, right? So it's definitely not as narrow as the other shoe. But also it's not as rigid. Like there's so much movement, right? At the end of the day, I guess, just trying them on and just kind of with a physical inspection, my verdict is that, for casual use, for a casual person who doesn't know any better, yeah, I mean, it's just, why pay, $40-$50 and you get a pair of like legit Nikes, I guess. I mean, who's to say they're not legit? They're made in a factory that's probably the same or adjacent to the Nike factory. The only thing is just this box said clay, okay? So I just wish that it was a hard court shoe. They didn't say anything about being clay. In all honesty, maybe the legit clay shoe does have the Nike court symbol like this. I guess because that clay shoes probably sell more in Europe and, you know, like whatever, South America. I really don't think there's a huge market for the clay shoe in America, or even Vietnam for that matter. But, you know, you do see it. You go to asics.com, you go to Nike.com, they always offer the clay model. So maybe that is different. In terms of like the sole durability, that makes sense, right? Because it's a different surface. It's just not, there's nothing more demanding than a hard court like tennis surface. It's like concrete. So you really need something that can last a couple months. But like I said, this shoe, it was just not as, it was flexible, and it had so much more give, and the structure wasn't there. And honestly, that's kind of alarming to me without even playing, because when you're thinking about what you're doing on the tennis court, even on a pickleball court, even if you just weigh 150 pounds, you are like suddenly stopping and changing direction. So you need grip to do that, right? Not only do you need grip, but you need something that's not going to compress too much under all that sheer force. Like in such a small area, you are stopping your force and bouncing the other way, right? So you need something that can hold up to that. And this shoe was just so much more rigid. And when I put this one on, it was so soft, like it was already broken in, like super broken in. Imagine a day one shoe that already feels very broken in, like months broken in on day one. How is that going to fare when you wear it on the court? So, you know, I think that for a casual player, I see a lot of my students wearing these shoes. And I'm just like, these are like newbie pickleball players. They don't know a damn thing about tennis or pickleball, but they have like these Nike shoes on, and they've been living in Vietnam, right? So like they're ordering these shoes, 40, 50 bucks, and they can't tell the difference. It's fine, right? But then again, they're newbies. So first of all, one thing I've learned coaching newbies is they don't, footwork is not non-existent. The biggest problem is just that they're not moving their feet. And if you tell them to do it, they don't do it. It doesn't compute to them that you have to move your feet to get to make the perfect ball, right? And they're just not moving at all. They're not bending their knees. They're not shuffling. They don't do anything. Newbies just standing still, and they lead with their paddle, right? And they just try to find the ball with their paddle. So they're barely moving. So in that case, you know, if you watch a beginner pickleball game, I guess you really don't need like a good shoe. And even if they did buy this shoe, they wouldn't know the difference, because like it's good enough, right? To ask someone to pay $200 for a pair of shoes, I mean, that's crazy. That's just always what I considered, you know, this is just what you got to do. You pay $200 for a shoe, and it lasts probably 6 months on the court, and then you do it again. But just knowing what I know now, clearly it's not the same shoe. But like I said, I can't definitively say that, because technically the box came and it said it was a clay court model. And I'm comparing a clay court fake gray market shoe to a hard court, real official Nike shoe. I mean, definitely the quality, you can say that. The foam is soft on this. The laces were soft on this. The shoe was not as rigid. The quality control just wasn't the same. Like you see that Nike thing? Look at that paint blotch. That just doesn't happen on the real ones. That wouldn't pass quality control on a real Nike line. They wouldn't sell it, right? So that attention to detail just wasn't there. But like casual, just walking around, beginner pickleball, yeah, I mean, buy 3, 4, 5 pairs of these shoes, and you know, you're good. But I think once you start actually moving, maybe you want the real thing. Maybe it's a little bit worth it to buy the real thing. That's it. Anyways, long video, just for some, you know, just if you're interested kind of stuff. That's it.